Hello, 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 and welcome to what is our first ever live audit webinar, really in the history of our YouTube channel ever. So we are super excited today. Local SEO audits is such a big part of what we do here at Sterling Sky. I'm going to say collectively, we've probably done thousands of local SEO audits over the last couple of decades amongst everybody here on the team. It's something we are super passionate about, so really excited for today. Before we get started, we were overwhelmed in a really good way with how many websites we had submitted for today. And just real quick, real curious, take a guess how many websites you think we had submitted today. Just pop it in the chat. I want to see if anyone can guess. Last time I checked, one of my colleagues might have an updated number. We had over 100 websites submitted today. I think on last check we had 108. So thank you so much, and definitely due to the overwhelming appetite that there seems to be for this, this will be the first of many that we're going to do. So my name is Colin. I'm the vice president of local search here at Sterling Sky.
Hi, and I'm Brandon Schmidt, and I am a SEO analyst at Sterling Sky.
Now, in a moment here, Brandon's going to give you a little insight, a little overview before we dive into these audits of like our approach to auditing, our philosophy, what makes us different. And I wanted to give you a couple of reasons here why you definitely want to stick around today, like right to the end. Number one, about halfway through the webinar today, we're going to be announcing the winner of a free full local SEO audit. This has a $3,000 value, which is about 20,000 Canadian. And then at the top of the hour, we're going to announce the second free audit that we're giving away. It's a $3,000 value. We're also going to be announcing some upcoming events. We're going to be doing another live webinar next month. We've got two live events coming up. First one's in Detroit. Second one's in New York City in the fall. So you're going to want to stick around to hear about those. Brendan, over to you.
Yeah, so when we talk about a local SEO audit, essentially it's a snapshot, a point in time of the performance of the important things that matter for your digital marketing presence. It's going to be your Google business listing, it's going to be your website, and it's going to be anything that happens off of your website, citations or links. Now, I'm sure all of us have received really bad audits, unsolicited emails in your inbox that just are a regurgitation of whatever SEMrush puts out. But we're talking about detailed, meticulous audits that actually help business owners move the needle when it comes to their online marketing presence. And if you're a business owner, it's really important to see the value in an SEO audit, whether you're trying to work with a new agency or maybe you're just trying to get insights on what's currently working or what you could do to improve for your in-house team. An audit is really crucial to uncover blind spots that you might not be aware of, or technical issues that you might not have the capacity to even see or fix on your own. And really, an SEO audit for a business owner is a gold mine and really a blueprint, if you will, of what to do to help you better meet your business goals. And I know there's a lot of agency owners and employees that are on this webinar as well. And for you, an SEO audit is crucial to building trust with your potential clients, to create that blueprint of here's where we need to go over the next 6, 9, 12 months. And really, it's to show your expertise and to create buy-in really for your connection at the business, to create buy-in, because an SEO audit is fine, but the real value is getting it actually implemented. So what we're going to be talking about is, we're going to show you kind of a little bit of what we do. It's just a glimpse at what we do. We're going to pull back the curtain a little bit. We can't do a full audit in an hour, let alone 2 full audits in an hour. So we are truncating some things due to the time constraints. We looked up some things beforehand. You don't need to watch us run Place a Scout or run Screaming Frog report. We did some of that stuff beforehand, but we're going to show you a little bit into what we think, how we would present it, and what we think are most important for these two businesses to do so that they can improve their SEO visibility.
All right, well, let's dive right into this. That was awesome, Brandon. Now, the way we're going to approach this, we're going to cover one business at a time. So out of those 108 submissions we had, we got 2 that we're going to be looking at here today. So the very first one, Richard, let's get this queued up here. This is a dental clinic that is located in Cincinnati, Ohio. And so how Brandon and I are going to break this up, I'm going to cover some GBP specific matters. Brandon's going to then transition to some website specific matters. First off, beautiful website. I think it's fresh, it's polished, it's inviting. Brandon will talk more about that, but I think right off the bat, you're putting a good foot forward. Now, whenever I dive into a GBP audits, I really want to try my best to prioritize and look at the things that are going to have the greatest impact, right? There's hundreds of different things we could look at. There's silver bullets, there's things we could chase. But what are the things that hopefully very quickly we can implement so that within the first few months, we're going to see some impacts, like right away? Lately, what I've been doing when I do this, I'd love to pull up the business's knowledge panel for 2 main reasons. Okay, and I'll show you 2 things that are already jumping out to me for Twin Dental here. So first off, it wouldn't be an audit without talking about business hours. Now, we had the openness update, which was launched last November. This was very significant in the sense that now Google is factoring in your business hours into the ranking algorithm. So here's what I would point out here. Twin Dental is open Monday through Friday, which is great, 5 days a week. That's good for a dental clinic. However, every single day of the week, they're closed at 2:30. Now, operationally speaking, if you can only be open till 2:30, that's fine. But hear me out here. What happens at 2:30 is that your visibility is getting a little bit reduced for one main reason, and I'm going to show you that here. If we pull up a list of all the dentists that are ranking really well in and around the Cincinnati area, I'm going to use the Plepper tool here. Now, this tool is multifunctional. It serves all these wonderful purposes. As you can see here, it's showing me like what are the main categories that all these dental clinics are using. That's very insightful. But if I scroll down a little bit here, what I'm going to see is I'm actually going to see this aggregate view of all my competitors' opening hours. And like, check this out. On Monday, 40% of my competitors are open till 5. 10% are open till 4. I've got some open till 5:30, 5, 4 o'clock. And this pattern kind of repeats itself throughout the week, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So in my opinion, if this is the case, that we have competitors that are opening much later than us, which means that after 2:30, their visibility is going up, ours is going down, I would have an internal conversation to see, can we extend our business hours? Because it's absolutely going to have a significant impact from a visibility perspective. Back over to the knowledge panel. I always check to see, is the business located in the city that we think we're actually located in? And it kind of goes like this. So what I'm seeing here is we're telling Google we're located in Cincinnati. It's pretty straightforward. We're in Cincinnati, Google. And Google's kind of like, well, hold on one sec. Like, hold up. You're actually in Hamilton County, Ohio. And although that may be true, that that's the county we're located in, unfortunately, from a ranking perspective, Google is saying you're actually outside of the physical boundary of Cincinnati. And let's kind of take a look at what impact this is potentially having. So if we switch over to, this is Place a Scout. It's probably my personal favorite GeoGrid specific tool. There's lots of other really good ones out there. What I noticed right off the bat is for explicit keywords, my rankings are really wonky, right? So check this out. So this is dentist Cincinnati. I've got this weird Swiss cheese pattern. I've got these weird strikeouts on some of those pins. This clearly tells me that something's up. And a big part of why this is happening is we're way outside of the physical boundary of Cincinnati. Really cool feature here, Places Scout, is when you set up a rank tracker, as you can see here, I can actually draw or have the tool automatically draw the physical boundary of Cincinnati. Here's the boundary. Here's where we're located. This is a problem. Now, interestingly, on the flip side, if we look at some of the implicit keywords, here's dentist. We kind of rank around our general vicinity. There's no weird stuff happening. Emergency dentist, same thing. Rankings are solid. We kind of own at least our own backyard. But check this out. Emergency dentist Cincinnati, same pattern. We instantly fall off. We've got these weird strike throughs. So the question becomes, what do we do about this? Well, the first and most obvious thing and most challenging thing we could possibly do is if we're thinking about growth plans, if you have plans in the future to open up new locations, like your competitor Aspen Dental, who I believe has 3, this is them here, you absolutely want to think about opening locations closer and within that border of Cincinnati. That is pretty much the only way you're ever going to be able to rank for those explicit queries that have Cincinnati part of it. Okay, so that's number one. That's a big deal. That costs a lot of money. If you have growth plans and you're already thinking about that, well, hey, that's where you need to focus. What I would then also do that can help improve this, although it won't completely fix it, I would look at the GBP landing page. So let's take a look at this. So one of the most important signals for Google is the page that you're linking to from the profile and what's happening on that page. What's the content like, the internal linking structure, and then most importantly, what is like the anchor text on those internal links that's going to other pages? So let's take a quick look. So if I use this Chrome extension, it's called Link Miner. It's just going to highlight and show me how many internal links are on this page that are going out to other pages. And I would actually say that they are doing a really, really good job here in the sense that, like, check out all these internal links. They got really good anchor text, same-day dental appointment, root canal, sedation dentistry. The opportunity here, if we scroll a little bit further down, is there's only one internal link with anchor text that mentions Cincinnati. So kind of first up on my to-do list is I would kind of rejig my internal linking structure from the GBP landing page to my other pages to include more Cincinnati signals. And to some degree, that will kind of help with those explicit rankings. Another thing I want to take a look at here, so practitioner listings. There are quite a few industries that can have practitioner listings, but I would say over the last couple of years, there's really only a few industries that we still find practitioner listings to be an effective strategy, and dentists are like at the very top of that pile. So check this out. First thing I want to do is I'm going to pull up their listing on Google Maps. I'm going to zoom into their location, and all I'm doing here is I'm clicking search nearby, plugging dentist into the top, zooming in again, and I can see they've got their main practice listing. They've got 3 practitioner listings, which is great. There's 3 dentists. According to the website, they can have these listings. The problem is these listings are currently all competing with each other, okay? And the main reason they're competing with each other is because they're all using the dentist primary category. So here's what I do. First thing I would do is I would change the primary categories of each of the practitioner listings to be for some other specific procedure. Based on the research and what I'm seeing on the website, I would probably list one as the emergency dentist category. Mm-hmm. I would list one as the dental implants category. And then a really effective practitioner strategy is to use the pediatric dentist category. I didn't see a specific page on the website that was about pediatrics, but I do get the sense it's like a family oriented practice. So if you do see children as patients, that makes sense to do. Okay, so different primary category. Then you're just going to want to point the page that it's linking to on the website to that procedure page. Okay, emergency to the emergency page, dental implants to dental implants. And then finally, what you're probably going to want to do here, well, what you're absolutely going to want to do here is you want to get each of these practitioner listings to 10 reviews. Joy actually just showed me an example this morning. This is so impactful. She showed me an example where a business went from sub 10 reviews to 10 reviews. And I believe the increase in calls from 1 month to the next was twofold. Like it was a double increase in rankings. All right, so there we go. Oh, and by the way, the dental implants practitioner listing. So if you use the dental implants category, the page that I would recommend linking to, which Brendan's going to talk a little bit more about in a minute here, is your dental implants cost page. That is one of your best performing pages on the website. And between that and the dental implants primary category, I bet you can have that listing ranking very well for dental implants keywords. Brendan.
Yeah, thanks. Really helpful insights. I'm going to be looking at the website portion of it, and I love, if we can switch over to my screen, I love starting with Search Console. I always have Screaming Frog running in the back, the crawler tool, so that's set up as well. But I love starting with Search Console and just kind of looking at what's working, what's not, what pages could be improved. So I like to start there. Of course, we're going to get into technical, we're going to talk about UX, but at the very beginning, I just want to look here and see what's working, what's not. So I'm going to go to Search Console. I'm going to look at the last 16 months, and there is clearly growth here. It looks like around December, January, of this, the last few months, that there's been some significant growth. And so that draws my attention. This is not seasonal growth, as we'll talk about for our next client, but this is definitely like actual growth of the website, growth in impressions and clicks. And so if we look at last 3 months year over year, we're going to see that a lot of that growth is going to be attributed to the page that Colin mentioned, cost of dental implants. You can see it never existed, and it's getting hundreds of thousands of impressions and hundreds or thousands of clicks in the last 3 months. So I want to look at that page, and it's a good page. Cost keywords are great to rank for. Businesses get weird. Some of you might be business owners or internal marketers. You might be hesitant to put cost information on the website, proprietary information, or there's too many things that can change the cost. Well, put that down, right? Actually write that down. Explain what can change the cost. You can't give an exact number, but give a range. Google wants to show answers to this, and they want to show numbers, and this website does a good job of listing out ranges, right? They have dollar signs, they have actual numbers. So it's not saying it depends. They actually write out that information. So that is awesome. There's a few things that we could do to improve this page. One of the things is internal links. So on this entire page, there's three internal links. There's this dental implants link, which is just going to the main dental implants page. These are all external links. But then when we go down here, we're going to see that there's two other links to a savings plan, and then the cost page, or the contact page. So I would want to see more internal links from this to other pages. If this is the most visited page from organic on your site, make sure that you're making it easy to drive people further into the site. Not to mention having Google connect the dots between all of those things. There's also a surprising few amount of internal links to this page. There's other pages on the site that talk about cost for dental implants, and they don't link to this page. So that was really surprising. Even was this? I think it was mini dental implants was the page that I didn't see any internal links to that page. So yeah, that I would definitely want to have links back and forth between those pages. So you definitely want to look at that and figure out how to, the page is great. How can we make it better? How can we help you? How can you do more on that page to squeeze more juice out of it? Another thing that I'm gonna do as part of an SEO audit is I'm gonna be looking at one final thing with that page is I also like looking in Hrefs is just one of the tools I use, but I like looking at if there's any. I got kicked out, so I'll have to log back in for the next one. But you look up featured snippets and you kind of see what is it currently ranking for. What queries is it ranking for that there's a featured snippet that it's not showing up for. And I think there were, like 20 different featured snippets that it was, maybe bottom of page 1 or top of page 2 that it could rank if you kind of focus and massage the wording a little bit so you could rank for those featured snippets. So I would definitely look into that. Another thing I like doing is just trying to see sometimes in Search Console, but also in just doing a site search, seeing what pages are currently showing up and how do they kind of look. And I'm not seeing a lot of images. So, we could probably do better job of optimizing, getting some images on there. I'm seeing a ton of tags. It looked like a lot of their, if we go in here, let's actually go here last 16 months and we'll look at the URLs. I think there were a ton of tags that were showing up. It's basically like the blog, the WordPress tag. And they're not getting much traffic or impressions, but they're still there. So I would definitely want to 180 tag pages that Google is seeing. So I would definitely want to clean that up. In terms of keywords, I like looking at what are some pages that they're maybe trying to target for. So like here I saw root canals, so we'll look at like root canals and see how they're doing. So I like looking in here and seeing, okay, in the last 16 months, they've only gotten 23 clicks to a root canal page. And their main service page, they have 2 blog posts that are showing up ahead in terms of clicks, but their root canal service page is only gotten 5 organic clicks in the last 16 months. So what can we do to improve that page? Obviously, again, in a full SEO audit, I would probably go further and try to find recommendations. Are these pages maybe competing with one another? And maybe we need to combine all those pages. Is this page a little lighter? Maybe we need to add more content on it and boost it. That's some of the direction I would go for some of that. Another one that I wanted to look up is cosmetic. So they have a significant portion here on their site for cosmetic dentistry. They have a page for it, Cosmetic Dentist Cincinnati, as well as actual pages underneath it. But when we look at Search Console, we see 1 click and a small amount of impressions showing up there. So in fact, the 1 click went to the doctor bio. So no clicks to that service page. If that's an important service for you, you would definitely want to look at how can we improve these pages, the main cosmetic page as well as any of the underlying ones. Speaking of an underlying one, another one that we've seen success with in this industry is veneers. And so we're going to look there. And again, it's minimal amount of clicks, more impressions, but still not a ton there. And the service page is down here and it's got no clicks, which again, impressions are great, clicks are better, and leads are best. So that's where we definitely want to put any page that we're looking at. Anytime we're doing an audit, we want to look at it through the filter of is this performing well? Is it getting the right amount of traffic? Could it be getting more traffic? And then if you have analytics set up properly, you can then measure how's this traffic converting into phone calls, form submissions, actual patients that are signing up with you. So one thing I'm not going to spend much time on analytics, but one thing I did see is that in the hot mess that is our collective existence in GA4, one of the things I noticed with their GA4 implementation is that it's nearly all the conversions are being put into the not set category. And That's pretty much all I know about GA4. Sometimes I'm always confused about what's triggering that, but I know that that's something you would definitely want to look at. I believe it's based on the default timeout for GA4, but that's something definitely to look in so that you can actually measure how many leads are properly attributed to these landing pages. So that's one thing I would definitely say on the technical side for this site. One other cost thing, or one other, or two more keywords that I would want to focus on, or at least consider. One is insurance. So there is not really a mention of insurance. It looks like there has been some growth here, but if you look a little further, all of the growth has been on the cost of dental implants page. So again, that page is doing a lot of work, but it's also revealing some opportunities for other pages on there. So there is really only one page that's dealing with costs, and that's the dental savings plan or financing. There's not a page talking about what insurances you take. And so that would be one that I would want to focus on, is how to, create some content that talks about the types of insurances that you take, what plans you take, so that people that are doing searches for that can find your site. And then, as Colin had mentioned earlier, pediatric, I couldn't find any mentions of it, but there is a mention of on the homepage, individualized treatment for each member of your family. And so if that is the case, that you do accept kids and teenagers, it would be important to perhaps have a pediatric page on that. So I think that covers a decent amount of what I wanted to look at. I mean, there's always little UX fixes. One final little thing I want to talk about, there's a specials page, and this is still showing some outdated information, January 2024. Special pages are great. I've seen them work across industries. Maybe in this case, you either have an evergreen special, that doesn't have an expiration date. Maybe go for a special that has, maybe it lasts 6 months. It's fewer times you have to update it. Or if you are going to do a month by month special, you got to have someone on your team, internal team, external team, whoever, someone whose sole job is to make sure that this gets updated every single month, so that you have, accurate information and it doesn't look, stale or outdated.
Nice. Brandon, I think we have time for probably 2 questions before we do the first announcement for the contest, for the free audit giveaway. So let me, this, I think, was related to the first part. So as long as your address is within the established limits of the city, are you good? Or does Google place any emphasis on the centroid of the city in question? Great question. So the first part of that question, it's all about being inside of the physical boundary for explicit keywords in particular. So keywords that have the city attached to it. And also, to the second part of your question, the closer you are to the centroid, typically, the better you're going to rank across that city for the explicit keyword. And this is just simply because if there's a city attached to the keyword, Google is de-emphasizing proximity as a factor, and sort of they're putting in some other factors. And one of those is, are you within the border, and how close are you to the city center, especially if there's a cluster of other businesses in that area. So great question. Lots of good questions here. I'm going to throw one up, Brandon. This would be over to what you were just covering.
Is it better to add content about the service on the page, or add a rich anchor text link to another dedicated page? I think it really depends on how much you can talk about that service. So I'm guessing when we're talking about like cosmetic dentistry, there's enough different things between bonding, whitening, veneers, Invisalign. Each of those probably deserves their own page. But if you're starting to talk about very similar services within the veneer section, like veneers and lumineers, I probably wouldn't. It doesn't justify creating its own page, but make sure that you have enough information that you can actually talk about it, right? You talk about who is it for, why go with you instead of someone else? How much does it cost? How long does it take? There's a ton of information that you can provide. Either, I always talk about, if you're a marketer, you're an external marketer, you're in-house marketer, talk to the people that are actually having the conversations with customers, right? The dentists in this case, or the people that are scheduling the appointments. Anyone who has a front row seat and hears and answers those questions on a regular basis. They figured out the script. They know all the pain points. You just interview them, download that information, turn it into content for the website.
Awesome. So we're at the halfway point. And I think in a moment, not just yet, we're going to announce the first winner. Before we do, let's talk about the next webinar that we're going to be doing next month. So you're not going to want to miss this.
End of this month.
End of this month.
End of this
Thank
month.
you.
April.
End of this month. April. So we've got Joy. She's being joined by Guy Sakalakis. This is going to be awesome. So the timing of this one is incredible. We had that big update that started on March 4th. Google's starting to send out manual actions again. So I think the timing of having a webinar and a discussion about link building disasters, things to avoid, strategies is good timing. So you're definitely not going to want to miss this one. Please sign up now. And again, Guy is with Attorney Sync, for those who don't know. So this is going to be awesome. All right, here we go. Drum roll, please. So what we're about to announce here is the winner of a full-on local SEO audit conducted by our team. This is a $3,000 value. Drum roll, please. Maestro, Richard. Congratulations, Tom.
Tom D.
Oliveira. Tom D.
Tom D.
We'll be in touch. We're going to get this organized for you. And again, this is, today we're giving you a sneak peek into our thought process. What you've just won is the full shebang. This is our full local SEO audits that, hopefully will be transformative for your business. All right, let's move on to the next business. All right, Richard, if we can keep up the screen share. All right. So we just covered a brick and mortar dentist, and let me just adjust my screen here. There we go. And now we're going to move into a home service company. We love working with pool companies. I think they're exciting. Who doesn't love thinking about swimming and pools in the summertime? I think it's a pretty exciting industry. So Brandon and I are really happy to go through this and provide some thoughts, some recommendations. So let's do this. Let's kind of walk you through this. So one thing that's really important is especially today, the first thing I like to check with a business, or at least one of the first things, is how much of their visibility for their Google business profile is actually coming from a mobile device. I think most industries these days are at least at that 40, 50% or more mark, but there's certain industries where you'll see like a huge percentage being over on the mobile side. And this would be a perfect example. So like if we add this up, you're getting 53 plus 17, that's 70% of all the visibility that their Google business profile is getting is coming from a mobile device. So what I would recommend is if you are doing audits or really trying to understand how you truly rank across your market, make sure that you're tracking things across the mobile SERPs. You could still track desktop because it's still an important part and it still makes up a significant percentage for most businesses. But at the very least, please be tracking both. And there's a couple of reasons why. We've really started doing this recently. We've reset up all of our GeoGrid ranking reports to track mobile. And I can tell you, we are seeing different results, different rankings very often. And one of the really cool things about a lot of these GeoGrid tools these days, in particular with Places Scout here, is the SERP screenshots are pulling directly, like natively from the mobile search results. so that if an algorithm update happens or you're trying to assess why we suddenly dropped rankings, you can have a real accurate look. And like sometimes it might just be that some new module has shown up here. There's more products being shown in here. Maybe the 3-pack on mobile very often is a 2-pack and not a 3-pack. So understanding these things becomes extremely critical. So if you're tracking rankings using GeoGrids, I highly encourage that you track mobile SERPs. All right, let's move on. So for this one, I wanted to really start to dive directly into some of the specific Google Business Profile parameters. And as we all know, GBP services, both custom and predefined services, have a significant impact on ranking. So I wanted to see what was going on there. So first off, good job. You clearly are aware of this feature. You've really filled this out nicely. One step further you could take this is for the custom services, add emojis. Cool related emojis or colorful. There's so many different options you can use, and those will actually get pulled in as justifications when you show up in the local pack, as long as the keyword kind of matches the custom service. Beyond that, there's actually some existing opportunities here. So if we scroll to the bottom, you've got lots of categories selected here. If we look under swimming pool repair service, let's open this up. For better or for worse, there's still quite a few predefined services that you could be selecting. And I assume these are like directly related, right? So we're talking about cover repair, different types of equipment repair. It gets very specific, which I think is the important part here. So you want to be checking this. We typically say on a quarterly basis, go back and check and see what predefined services are there, because Google will often introduce more. There was one other category I wanted to check here. So if we look at swimming pool contractor, there it is. This one has some as well. Now, some of these are more hot tub related, and there's some bigger things, above ground pool installation. I don't believe that's something you do, but I mean, even just general repairs and maintenance would be an important one to select. If you deal with cracks around sort of like the foundation of pool, if you're dealing with pool crack repairs, you want to be getting in here. You want to be selecting these. These are going to impact ranking for sure. The other thing I want to take a look at here, we always look at categories. Right? I think most people here probably know that your categories are at the top of the pile in terms of the things that impact ranking. Your primary category is more impactful than the other 9. So let's take a look. Now, we work with, historically, we've worked with many pool service companies. And if cleaning is kind of the main thing you do, then pool cleaning service makes sense. That should be your primary category. If you find yourself doing more repairs, or if there's certain times of the year where you're doing more repairs over cleaning or something like that, you definitely want to be swapping out your primary categories, almost like a seasonality thing. That's something you can do. But I'm also going to make another recommendation here that I actually very, very rarely make. And that is, I would actually suggest you remove a few of these categories. Now, as far as category dilution goes, it's not really a thing, right? If you've got your primary category and you add 9 more relevant categories, those 9 categories aren't diluting the power of the primary one. But where I think you can run into some issues is if you're actually confusing Google. And I actually think the public swimming pool, the outdoor swimming pool, and possibly the swimming pool category is actually causing some confusion. And let me show you the data that's kind of making me think this. So if you go over to the performance metrics, and I want to look at the queries that are driving the majority of our visibility over the last 6 months. Now, do you notice anything here? Number 1, pool. Well, we're not pool. Pool service near me, that's good. Okay, that should be up there. Then we got 24/7 pool. Pool's near me, pool near me, 24-hour pool near me. So for better or for worse, because of those categories, Google is surfacing you for people who are searching for an actual like public pool to go swimming in. Now, I think two things could possibly be happening because of this. Number one, and I'd actually love to hear this feedback from you, you might be getting phone calls that are completely irrelevant. And I could totally see how somebody might find your listing ranking for pool or pools near me, see this lovely image of a pool, and at least for a few moments, be confused, right? Or contact you not realizing that you're actually a service company. If you're here, let us know in the chat. I would love to know if that's actually happening. The other side of that, and probably the more impactful and important thing, I do actually think that to some degree, this is causing some like real confusion with Google, right? And you can imagine if you're ranking for all these pool related queries, public pool, whatever it may be, and nobody's interacting with your listing, these are kind of mixed signals to Google. So what I would suggest, remove those categories. And over the next 6 months, keep checking back on that top 10 query list. And I would suspect in a few months from now, you'll see more discovery queries showing up and those pull ones kind of going away. All right, so a couple more things here before I hand it over to Brandon. I always want to check the GBP landing page. Okay, so let's open that up and take a look here. So by the way, I forgot to mention this. So this is a multi-location pool cleaning company. So I'm looking at the Lake Mary specific location, and they're linking to the specific Lake Mary page, which is good. I think that's a good idea, especially if this is the page that tends to perform better organically, within Lake Mary. The missed opportunity here, which can easily be fixed, and let's run that link miner again. Did you disappear? There you are. There we are. Let's run this real quick, and this will actually go through real quick because there's really no internal links on this page other than the menu that are going to other pages. So if we go down here, all of this, right opportunity for internal linking. Down here in the body content, more opportunities for internal linking. So because you do multiple things, you do cleaning, you do equipment repair, there's kind of multiple services you have in different pages representing those. You absolutely want to be connecting those to this page, which is your GBP landing page, through really good internal linking with really good anchor text. That in and of itself will probably make a big difference. The other thing I'll throw out here, we don't typically talk about this too much, but I do think there's an opportunity here because this is an interior page to do a little bit of optimization on the actual URL structure itself. So if we go back in the day, everybody knows organically exact match domains were a thing, and then they weren't a thing. We've actually been noticing that as far as the local ranking algorithm goes, there does still seem to be an impact depending on the structure of your URL. So for instance, right now it says pool service Lake Mary. If that said pool service and cleaning Lake Mary or something like that, it would actually it would make a difference. So consider updating the URL. Of course, you want to make sure you set up your 301s, do it properly. Last thing, before I hand it over to Brandon, I want to take a look at reviews because I think it's important to talk about reviews. Now you've hit the initial threshold, which is 10 reviews, which is amazing. But I want to point something out here. One of your competitors, so Professional Aquatic Services Inc. These are one of the few competitors in this market that they're kind of dominating, right? If we look at the spread of reviews in the market, the majority of the businesses actually don't have a ton. So let's take a quick look at that. So you've got 16 reviews for your Lake Mary location. The average number is 46. So about three times. Okay, so we got some room to go as far as volume goes. Then we've got a couple outliers, right? So somebody, the max competitors got 217, which are these guys. Now, one thing you'll notice that they're doing really well. Look how beautiful it looks when their customers are uploading photos with their reviews. Now, not only does it look good, and it's something I highly encourage you to kind of guide your customers to do, man, because your industry is perfect for it. It's all about visual, pools, enticing. But through our studies, through our testing, we also know that when you upload photos with your reviews, those reviews get pushed to the top. So if you ever have pesky negative reviews, if you have more positive reviews with photos, they tend to push the negative reviews down over time. Brandon, over to you.
All right. Yeah. So again, looking at Search Console is where I'm going to start. I'm going to look at the top performing page, and it is not their homepage. It's not the GBP landing pages. It is how much does it cost to resurface a pool. They get a fair amount of clicks and leads from that, and that's great. There's times where people, blog posts are just going to pop off and they're going to perform better than your homepage or anything like that. So again, looking here at things that we could do to improve this page, there's not a lot of localization for this page. How much does it cost to resurface a pool in Florida would be a great addition. Again, if you're trying to target local local results and trying to rank locally and trying to get local growth, you want to make this page a little more local. So mention the cost for pools in Florida. You can be a little more specific and say Orlando or Matlin or Lake Mary, but state terms are a great option for a page like this. So I would definitely do that. There's probably a lot of opportunity for internal links to this page. It was just showing up here on the sidebar. That was really the main link that you were getting from there. Having internal links from the homepage, having internal links from main service pages, from your service area pages, your Google business listing pages, you definitely want to show up there. This is a very long page. So another thing that would be great is to have a table of contents and having jump links. That will help you rank for qualify for site links on Google search results. There's a ton of plugins out there that kind of auto generate those things. And it just basically, it would be like a little menu that shows up right here. You click on that and then it would take you down to, one of the subheadings that you have there. But I think the biggest recommendation for this page is to really geolocate it, make it as specific as possible for Florida searches, near me searches, or getting into I'd probably start with Orlando if you wanted to, but really lean into that state stuff. That would be awesome. And then once you've done some of that geolocation, make it like hyper local, then you could go into a tool like Ahrefs and look at featured snippet optimization. So what are some of those searches that you're ranking for, but you're showing up maybe somewhere on page one, and there is a featured snippet. How can you leapfrog some of those competitors and show up at number one and in that featured snippet spot? It provides a lot more real estate. It's front and center, gets a lot more eyeballs than being down, 4 or 5 on the search results. Another thing that I want to encourage on this site is I'm going to look at queries and I'm going to do regex. And I really stick at regex. So I already wrote it out and I'm just going to copy and paste it in there. But I'm basically saying any of the locations that they want to target, Lake Mary, near me, Matlin, and Orlando. So I'm just gonna, target any of the searches there. And what we're seeing is that there's some impressions, but not a ton of clicks, which means that they're probably not ranking as well as they could for those target keywords, right? So, and that goes to show on some of their main service pages, right? This says Orlando, but there's nothing else that's really optimized on this, right? The next subheading doesn't have a location. In fact, the only mention of Orlando are right here. And then Matlin, the only mentions are down here in the footer. So this page could do better in terms of optimizing it for nearby or near me searches or their specific target geographies. Really leaning into that would be awesome. Another thing is, we just saw that it ranks fairly well for how much does it cost to resurface a pool. But if we look at cost any keyword or any search that has cost, everything's going to that page. So, kind of take that blueprint. How much does it cost to resurface a pool? And let's look at how much does it cost to maintain a pool? What's a monthly cost or weekly cost for maintenance? So kind of take that principle and follow that for every one of your services. Again, you may not be able to provide exact numbers, but you can provide ranges, and that would be helpful. Another thing that I noticed, so again, I'm not going to pull this up, but I ran Screamin' Frog before we started, and Screamin' Frog, absolutely love the tool, and not affiliated with them, but I will love a sticker at some point. But one thing that it's really important when you do a Screamin' Frog crawl is you don't just put in the URL and tell it to crawl that website. You put in the sitemap and you tell it to crawl the sitemap as well. And I found several pages that are not, they're orphaned, right? There's no internal links to them. They're only found in the sitemap. Here's one of them. I have it on another screen here. But this page, how much chlorine should I add to my pool? I'm guessing they might have created this for, some search or whatever. Maybe they're running ads to it or something. It is indexed, or it is available to be indexed, but it's not showing up in Search Console, which means it's invisible to Google. So what can we do to improve this page? Add some internal links. Make sure that this is part of the menu structure. You want to make sure that all of the pages are linking to all the important pages. And this is one that just got lost. Another one that is lost is one of the pages that is linked to by the Google business listing. So this is the Matlin Google business listing. And now that I'm saying this, I'm actually noticing that this is a lot of duplication, right? It almost looks like everything from pool cleaning options down is pretty similar. So, just swapping out pool service maintenance and just adding this is probably not good enough for a Google business listing landing page. And it's definitely not going to be good enough for trying to rank for any search terms or trying to rank for Matlin pool service. So I would definitely invest some time into creating better pages, have more information about them. Talk about what do you do differently in Matlin. Do you have any testimonials that you can highlight from Matlin? I notice you do have, there's a lot of stock photos on here on this site, but I did notice that you do have some photos, and they're not loading right now, but you do have some photos that they show up on mobile, but they are actual photos of your projects, or they seem to be actual photos of your projects. So have those on a Matlin page. That would be a great thing to say. Here's some of the pages. Here's some of the pools that we resurfaced in Matlin over the last few years. Have that on an Orlando page. Have that on a Lake Mary page. Any other service areas that you really want to focus on. Have dedicated pages for them. Talk about what you do that's important there. Talk about the cost of weekly maintenance there. Really make those pages as strong as possible. And then, of course, there are some, technical issues. This is something I did run into a lot. The images weren't showing up on desktop. They were showing up on mobile, but not on desktop. This image is not showing. You have a plugin that your trial period has expired, so you may want to set that up. And then, some other basics. The title tag for the homepage is just the company name. So there's a lot of opportunities for title tags to kind of expand those, add important target keywords in them. Invest in the H1s on pages so that they're optimized for keywords and near me, or keywords and location. So those would be definitely some of the things to focus on. And then the one other thing I would say from a user experience standpoint is there's no about page. And I'll tell you, I've worked with a lot of home service companies over the years, and some of the most visited pages on home service company websites are the about page. People do business with other people, and if you're a local family owned operated business, tell that story. introduce yourself as the owner, introduce your team, show pictures of the people that are actually going to be doing the weekly work of cleaning someone's pool. Actually highlight who's doing the work there, and tell your story, and just make an impact. Show the impact that you have on your community.
I think we've got some time for a few questions before we do the next contest winner, and then we'll kind of wrap this up. So I'm going to pick one here, Brendan. I'm going to say this one is for you.
Yeah. So the question is, have a contact form on each blog post or a linked button to highlight a next step. I have seen it work both ways. I think if you have a single place that you're directing people to, a contact page, a book an appointment, an online schedule tool, I would want to link to that. You don't need to have a form on each page, as long as the CTAs are clear and unmistakable.
I really wanted to thank you for clarifying this one. So this was related to when we were talking about removing categories for the pool company. And you're absolutely right. Local Falcon, amazing tool. The suggestions they make are useful. And like I said, this is a rare instance where I would recommend removing categories. And it's simply because of the data that's kind of showing up in the query insights. So think of this as an experiment. Remove them, keep an eye on things over the next 3 to 6 months, see what happens. All right, let me see. We got a lot. I also just wanted to kind of share here, for anyone that doesn't get their questions answered today, we run an amazing forum called the Local Search Forum, localsearchforum.com. Head over there. You will not only get advice from Brandon, myself, and members of the Sterling Sky team, but we have this just incredible community of local SEOs who kind of help us and participate. So it's really like free consulting that you'll get over there at the Local Search Forum. Actually, I think that's it.
We should probably announce the other winner.
Yeah, let's do that. Before we do that, let's. Oh no, we're doing it. Go for it. That's awesome. I love David. I'm so happy David won. So David Hutchins, congratulations. You're the winner of the second audit. So we'll be in touch about getting that organized for you. Now, before we go, we wanted to make a couple more announcements. So I mentioned at the top of the hour, we've got 2 in-person live events coming up. The first one is in Detroit. This will be on June 24th. And this one is hosted by Attorney Sync and Guy Sokolakis. We're super excited for this one. Really cool thing about the local U events that we're doing this year, I believe we were able to cut the cost of the tickets by, I think 60 or 70% compared to the cost of tickets previously. We have Sterling Sky speakers. We also have external awesome people that are coming to speak. Yeah, the tickets are $299. September this year, we'll have another event. This one's going to be in New York City. This one's going to be hosted by Wix, and it's going to be at their actual, they call it the Wix Playground. I'm super excited for that one. So please join us. Please get your tickets before we sell out. I know they're going to go very fast. And with that, Brandon, anything else in your mind?
No, it's been fun, and looking forward to doing it again sometime.
Okay. And I think based on all the questions, all the websites that were submitted, you can absolutely be sure we're going to be doing this again in the very near future. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.